Social shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this beat myself, so hear me. I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only a few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo, what's going on, peeps? What's going on? Back in the building. Guys, we are obviously back for the last match reaction of 2024. Liverpool running out comfortable 5-0 winners against West Ham. Yeah, that was it was an easy game, man. It was such an easy game. Guys, please make sure, of course, you're smashing the like, you're sharing, you're subscribing, doing all that kind of good stuff. Obviously, if I don't speak to you guys, of course, Happy New Year. If you're watching this and you're watching this in 2025, big up to your damn selves. But yeah, man, listen, Liverpool were, yeah, that was a very, I don't know the best way to even really explain. The only way I can explain that game was if, like I was thinking about this morning, right? The only way I can explain it is if Goku had to face off against Krillin in his form right now, like both in their form right now as of today, and Goku obviously had to face off against him, and you know how easily Goku would punch him up, and Goku wouldn't need to turn Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, Ultra Instinct. He wouldn't need to do that. Krillin, on the other hand, would probably need to turn into God knows what in order to even have a remote, not even possibility of winning, just a chance of making this an actual battle, you know, for Goku. Like, it just felt like that. It was just so easy. And big up big up ENDZ, big up Cav. Obviously, you know, we was talking about this, you know, last night, and it could owe in part to, you know, Liverpool just being, you know, so great. It can owe in part to West Ham just being so shit, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it really, I don't know, it doesn't even really matter at this point. I'll be super honest with you, because they were just, the only thing I can say is that they were just so bad. It was just so poor to watch from a West Ham, you know, standpoint, and obviously from a Liverpool standpoint, it was just so casual. It was honestly so casual. Like, Liverpool didn't look like they came out of neutral. I said, you know, this is what I was saying yesterday on ENDZ's show. Like, they didn't come out of second gear, first gear. You were literally neutral for basically the whole game. Yeah, there was nothing really to it. I'll be honest with you, there really wasn't anything, you know, to it in that kind of regards. You know, there were some nice goals in there, obviously, from Liverpool in terms of, you know, the play and stuff like that. But like, it really wasn't. Like, I know everyone's like, yeah, it was so dominant, and yes, you can say, like, you can say what you want, but you can say that, but I wouldn't even have put that in like my top 5 performances of this season. You know, it really wasn't that. But the thing is, and this is what I was trying to stress last night, right, was that it didn't need to be that. Like, it actually didn't need to be that. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it didn't need to be your top 5 performances where it wasn't that at all. You know, it was just a professional, very professional performance, you know, from Liverpool. And big up to them, because the consistency level that over across the season anyway that Liverpool have shown, that's what I big them up for, I think, the most, when we're taking a look back, of course, at this, you know, half of the season that we've kind of played now, right, is the level of consistency that Liverpool have been able to kind of show. And I think that speaks volumes to the manager. It speaks volumes to, you know, the players, and, you know, the performance level of some of these players and stuff like that. Like, I have to big them up. I really do. Like, you know, because to be able to keep up this level of consistency. Now, of course, listen, do I think Liverpool played imperious this season? No, I do not. Do I think that we've had games where we've been lucky? Of course. But of course, you need that luck, you know, across a season anyway, just like any other team. You would, of course, you know, need that kind of luck. Big up Mike's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. But yeah, it was just that, and that was just my kind of like overall look, you know, in terms of, you know, the game in itself. Let's take a look at obviously the lineup that was obviously put out. This, I think, I can't remember. My memory is really, really bad, but I'm sure this is the lineup that I had for my preview to the game in itself. That in terms of Liverpool, so obviously the usual back five. Obviously, I know Joe Gomez had to come off with an injury, and obviously midfield of Gravenberch, McAllister, and Curtis Jones, with Salah, Gakpo, and Diaz up front. Yeah, like listen, all of the players, I think it was just like they understood the assignment. That was something that I took away from the game. It was they all seemed to understand exactly what it is that they needed to do, whatever it was that Arne Slot was asking them to do. You know, I heard him speak, you know, after the game. It's funny because I heard him speak and he was talking about like the couple of chances, obviously, that West Ham, you know, had in the game, and I was laughing because I was like, it's so funny, man, because I know if I mentioned that yesterday, everyone will be like, oh, but we won 5-0 and da-da-da-da, and, you know, we'll start shouting and stuff. But he mentioned, you know, the exact same thing, you know, and everyone's like, yeah, you know, he's so meticulous. He's, you know, he's really got his eye on the ball and stuff like that. And I was like, it's just one of those kind of things. But these are the kind of things, as a manager anyway, I assume, because I'm not a Premier League manager, but these are the kind of things that you will look at. Did you get what I mean? Like, you, of course, you're going to look at overall performance, of course, that will be the overarching kind of point. But listen, there's obviously West Ham had their odd 1 or 2 chances, but listen, in totality, you know, they were never really in the game at all. From when Liverpool bagged their first goal, I just thought like, yeah, it was done. It was honestly done, because I think we'd had a couple chances prior to that anyway, to obviously put the ball in the back of the net. Obviously Mo Salah, I thought, was incredibly wasteful. And obviously we'll talk about his performance when I do the ratings and stuff. But yeah, outside of that, you know, I thought the defense, Van Dijk, you know, just calm, didn't really have much to do. Didn't even look like he broke a sweat in the game. I'll be surprised, you know, if at the end of the game his shirt was sweaty, because I don't think it was, because he barely had to move, you know, in the game in itself. But yeah, listen, man, like a big up Ali in the building. I know you were saying great result performance. Yes, yeah, bro, it was good. It was good, man. I just, you know, when I was just obviously sitting in the West Ham end, so of course you can't really do too much in that regards. But it was like you just chilled. It was just becoming easy training game, a veterans game, like, you know, Liverpool legends versus AC Milan legends. It was like that type of vibe, like in the game. And you might see, I don't know, like not like one of the older players, for example, I don't know, someone who's probably in their 50s, 60s, trying to come up against a guy who's probably just retired, like maybe just a couple years ago, kind of thing. It was literally like that. You know, I'm seeing Wan-Bissaka playing almost as like a, I don't even know. At some points, this guy was in like attacking midfield and stuff like that, trying to make things happen. I was like, yeah, you lot are all over the gaff. Like, I don't know what's going on, but Liverpool are not the team that you want to face when things are not going right for you. It's really not the team. I think that's the one team I would say in the Premier League that, because Liverpool are so organized, because they're so good at what they get told to do, you know, game by game, you don't really want to face an organized type of team. It's like you don't want to meet that girl when you're just not really at it right now. Do you know what I mean? When you're not really, you know, where you want to be in life, you know, kind of thing. Like, you don't want to meet that girl who might be, you know, the one in your eyes, but the reality is, I'm not ready for all that. I'm really not ready. And West Ham, they came up against, you know, a Liverpool team who were looking to kill them off. And like I said, in terms of Mo, but there was other players as well who were a little bit wasteful. Curtis Jones, you know, should have scored his goal. We could have won that game like 10-0. Do you know what I mean? It was that type of game. It was really, really that type of game. Obviously, the two players who quite a lot has obviously been spoken about, these two, you know, in regards to contract situation. I think, what was it? We've got like 2 days left until the 1st of January, where, of course, we know players within their last 6 months of their contract are going to be able to talk to foreign clubs. And obviously, these two players probably are two players who, you know, quite a lot of foreign clubs, as well as Van Dijk, but I don't think that's going to be easy to do. But I think these two players are the ones that quite a lot of people think potentially could go, could stay. We don't really know. It's kind of up in the air. Obviously, I heard Mo Salah talking about it, you know, come the end of the game. I think I've seen a few quotes and stuff, and you know, in regards to like the whole contract situation. And I was just like, hey man, it is what it is. You know, when it comes to this whole contract situation, like there's not really much else that we can really say and really do. I think just before, and big up Jerry in the back, I see him. I'm gonna get Jerry in a sec, but I think when it comes to all of this contract situation, and I want to get Jerry and you lot's opinions. Liverpool and Jamie Redknapp, I was watching it this morning. He mentioned something about like it's being in this unique situation. Usually, when these players are like whoever it is in any club, like I remember Rudiger at Chelsea, where just before he moved to Real Madrid. Usually, when players are in this like last 6 months or whatever of their deal, some players they kind of it's very unsettling, and you don't really know what's going on, and etc. etc. And it's a little bit like that on one side, but on the other side, all three of these players are playing, from what everyone keeps telling me, is playing really, really well. It does not seem to be distracting them in any way, shape, or form. Mo Salah, as we know already in terms of his level of form, and we'll take a look at that. Virgil van Dijk, we already know what he's about, still the best centre-back in the world. You know, Trent, people are saying he's improved defensively and all this kind of stuff. Like, if that's the case, like, it really doesn't seem like it's bothering them in the slightest. And that, for me, it almost seems like they're playing with this level of, like, freedom, i.e. just it is what it is. If we sign, great. If we don't sign, it doesn't really matter, because they're so focused on their goal at this current moment in time. And that's why I rate those three, you know, for what they're, you know, what they're trying to do. Let me bring JJ in the building. Big up, my bro. What are you telling me?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Big up to the chat as well. Make sure we're stuff, like as always, man.
Oh, love. Jerry, man. Obviously, we got the game yesterday. Just your opinion on the total, like, obviously I know we spoke where big up Cal, obviously we spoke, you know, about the game after that, but like, how did you kind of see it in, you know, in terms of obviously 5-0 win, and obviously we were saying there earlier on in the group chat, it's funny what you see and don't see in terms of like stats, and obviously I didn't know the stats until after when I got home, and I was looking, and Enz was reading out some of the stats from some of the players, and I was like, "Rah, that's crazy, guy. I would never have thought that." Watching the game, obviously they're live, man. But how did you kind of see it?
It's difficult. It's like clinical performance from Liverpool, but Liverpool creating so many chances. I mean, we were there, and I think in the first 11 minutes or 7 minutes, we created 3 chances, innit? And I spoke to you. I was like, if that continues, yeah, do you know what I mean? We'll have if it was like 18 chances in the first half, if that was to continue, if that trend was to continue, so it was going to look quite scary already, like all of a sudden. And then, yeah, as the game went on, I've just got to be fair. I want to big up Liverpool at the same time. Lopetegui's shit, man.
Yeah,
he's a shit manager, man. He's a shit manager. He's got. I don't know what they were doing with Emerson as a winger. Yeah, I mean, Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side, maybe to stop Salah cutting in, but that didn't really work. It was just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare for West Ham, man. Nightmare for West Ham. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, just looking at Liverpool and just seeing how composed we are in possession in terms of like not giving the ball away, keeping it, do you know what I mean, and being really patient to the point where West Ham were walking. That just suggested to me that was the game probably where I looked at it and was like, yeah, like Liverpool are a problem. Like when they click, they're a problem, because now it's not just end to end. You're not even getting a sniff. You're not even getting a chance. Do you know what I mean? Unless there's like a individual mistake. So now big up to that, obviously, Liverpool from there. But yeah, look, it was like Liverpool, I don't think they got out of like second or third gear, to be honest, man. I don't think they got out of second or third gear. I think it was a comfortable game. And I think as soon as you create 3 chances early on and you score 1, you know it's just, yeah, that's the tone of the game set. And West Ham would had to have done something crazy to stop what Liverpool were trying to go and do. And it didn't matter if, you know, Gomez got injured or we'd make substitutions and stuff. Their level was still quite high, man. So yeah, big up to Liverpool. And yeah, for me, I think Liverpool win the league, man. I think it's done.
Hey, we'll get to that. Big up everyone inside the building this morning, man. Obviously, I was just before you jumped in, obviously I was talking about Salah and Trent, man. What do you think of, like, obviously not so, I guess you can include this game of course as you want, but in terms of just them and Virgil as well, as I was saying about, their contract situation, it's literally 2 days now. They can sign for any other foreign team. But the level of performances that they're putting in a general sense, across this season, like, how are you seeing it in terms of, do you think it even matter? Like, does you think it even matters to them that their deals are up soon, like, kind of thing? Are they playing like players who are a bit wishy-washy with their performances and stuff like that? Like, how do you kind of see it?
Do I look here, yeah, there comes to a certain point with the amount of money that you make, it doesn't really make a difference, brother, whether you've got a contract now or not, because you're going to get one. And when you're as good as these guys have been, like, Salah's not going to get contract opportunities. Like, do you know what I mean? Even if he was to play bad, same as Virgil, same as Trent, to be fair. Like, the idea that, they're like fighting for a contract, like, it's not even that. I think they're so comfortable within themselves, so comfortable with the amount of money they got. Like, they could not work again and it'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? So from that point on, you're just making business moves, but at the same time, you're comfortable. You can play your football. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool's all playing well. The atmosphere at the clubs, do you know what I mean? All good. And yeah, they're not allowing contract negotiations to kind of stifle what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, on the pitch? So yeah, big up to them. And I'm just looking at it, and it's just, yeah, you're seeing, like, I don't know, the best ever Salah, you could argue. You could argue the best ever Virgil. Like, you could, and from a defensive standpoint, probably the best ever Trent. Like, you've seen it, so you're getting the best type of performances out of the players, and Liverpool are top of the league. So it's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect them personally. I don't think it's going to affect them at all. I think they could sign for other clubs in a worst case scenario, and I think they're still going to go and do the business. In the same way that, people thought Klopp done the business last season when he announced he was leaving. Do you know what I mean? Because when he announced he was leaving, that was a shock as well. Yeah. I thought, how could you go and continue as manager knowing that you want to leave? But he still right.
Don't worry, we remember that. We remember the video, boy. Exactly. Remember that video.
Right to the end, boy. It is what it is, man. So.
No, I feel you on that. Big up Harris, man. Love for jumping in this morning. I'm gonna get Mike's in the building as well, man. But just before I get Mike's in, man, Harris, man, chat to me about yesterday or last night's game, should I say, man? How did you see it? Impressed? Not impressed? Like, yeah, how did you see it, man? How did you see it?
Yeah, I think I really liked yesterday's performance, and I think it was good that all of our attackers got on the score sheet, because one thing I've always been a bit critical with is our attackers' goal tallies. Since Mane and Firmino left, I've always thought it could be much better. Like, Diaz is on 8 goals already. He could be on much more, but I think it's still good that he is on 8 goals, and I think he can go around. Like, let's say towards the end of the season, I think you can get around 15. Also, Gakpo, he's on 5. I think he can get much more as well. And he's played in his most preferred position. So hopefully he can keep it up as well, because I think he's got like something like 8 and 11 or something in all comps. So that's all really good. And the game overall destroyed West Ham. Like, they kept losing the ball in their own half. We pressed them. McAllister winning the ball back, and I think that's one of McAllister's best performances, because he himself, I think he's quite underrated when it comes to winning the ball back. He was doing it against Leicester, and as soon as he wins the ball back, it's a pass forward, and then we're on the counter attack.
No, I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. Big up Mike's, of course, in the building, my bro. Hope you're doing blessed, man. Yourself as well, man. Same kind of question, man. Like, how did you see the game, and how did you see everything, bro?
Well, I can't lie, G. West Ham are garbage. They're straight basura, as they would say in Latin America. Straight basura. Man, they are.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Trash.
Garbage.
Just trash.
Garbage.
Just trash. I mean, look.
You might got to teach me the lingo and that.
No, you gotta just I could teach you more lingo, but that might get your channel cancelled. So I don't want to do that to you right now. My first takeaway from this game is that the Premier League is garbage. You know, no, because I look at most of these teams, I'm like, okay, you spend all this money, right? West Ham has spent a lot of money, guys. Lucas Paqueta, Kudus, Todibo, all these guys. But they've gotten worse. How is that even the case with this? You look at other teams. Well, I mean, Man United are the epitome of the Premier League teams, where they spend all this money and they keep getting worse and worse. Of course, Liverpool are giants at the moment. We're impeccable. Nothing can stop us. And we should have won that game 10-0. If that game finished 10-0 yesterday, do you know what sort of discussion it would have been? Why are West Ham in this league? How's Lopetegui, who was linked, by the way, to the Milan job, but the Milan fans said, nah, we don't want this guy. He's a garbage manager. They protested, and they didn't even get him, thanks to the fans. Then West Ham said, oh, let's go get him. Why? Why are you doing that? There's clearly... They tried everything in their power. They started Emerson and Wan-Bissaka on the left side, and they still couldn't stop Salah. So clearly that's poor coaching on their side, and got to give it to Arne Slot. This man is just... Wow. I mean, what a manager. I mean, even me, you know, G, I was bigging up Arne Slot, saying he would actually do a good job. I am flabbergasted at how well he's doing. We've only lost one game.
Has he exceeded your expectations, like your own expectations?
Gee, we've only lost one game.
I'm just asking.
We're perfect in the Champions League. We've been Madrid. We've been Man City. Obviously, we got that 2-2 draw away against Arsenal, where it wasn't a good performance, but we've only lost one game all season. Like, it's been unreal. And the team we lost to, by the way, is in second place in the Premier League. So shout out to Forest. We're rolling back the years, G. We're going back to 78, 79. I don't know if you were born then, G. I know you're old. You're older than me, but maybe not that old.
Bro, what?
Hey, G. It's Monday morning. I got the coffee. I got to work at the same time. I'm on death row mode at the moment. But yeah, look, Liverpool are just... Salah, dude, this guy has 17 goals and 13 assists. Let's deep that for a second here, people. You know what was GA for Vinny last season? When he should have won the Ballon d'Or, by the way? He should have won the Ballon d'Or. 25 goals, 12 assists.
In all comps.
Okay.
All comps.
Okay.
And I think Salah in all comps has already got 20 goals and 15 assists.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So obviously we'll talk about Salah, because obviously he got 2 assists, he got himself a goal. I just want to know, and I'll go through everybody. So I'll start off with Jerry, then Matt, then Harris. Yeah. What did you think of his overall performance of the game in itself? I'll start off with you, Jerry.
Salah.
Yeah, Salah.
Sharp is the word to describe it, but he was poor though.
Sharp.
Like he was poor. Let's just be honest. He should have scored a hat-trick in the first half. He should have scored 5 by the end of the game minimum. We should have had 5 goals. I think Slot even alluded to it in his press conference. He's like, look, really, really good performance. Numbers can't, you can't fault the numbers, but you should have had more. You should have had more. The first one, I give it to him. Areola, great save. After that, I'm expecting him to score. At least a couple. At least a hat-trick. So it's a situation to me where, yeah, he's just inevitable at this point, where you know he's going to score, but you always kind of think, what if you were just a bit more clinical? And that's not to say he's not clinical, but the question in my head, I just think, well, if you were a bit more clinical, are we talking like Messi numbers? Do you know what I mean? If he scores 4 in this game, and you kind of, let's say his percentage, his conversion rate goes up from like 28% to 38%, just by 10%. Are we talking like historic numbers? That's what I'm looking at, because right now this is ridiculous. 17 and 13.
This is just Premier League, yeah. This is just
Premier League. 17 and 13. That's outrageous for someone that we're talking about saying, yeah, he should have scored more.
Yeah, it's the reason why, and I'm going to get to you, Mike, next in a sec. The reason I'm asking this question is just because last year, and I know, listen, things change, your mind changes and stuff like that. I get all of that. But last year, Mo was still putting up not these numbers, but he was putting up his usual numbers, kind of thing. Obviously, this season it seems like he's exceeding those numbers, but there was this kind of like fear, even at the beginning of the season, after the first 3 games, there was talk after that, because I think he was going through a little bit of a bad patch for him anyway, in terms of maybe not scoring or, assisting as much. And people were still kind of questioning, you know, Mo Salah. Now I'm hearing, not of you guys, but I woke up today on Twitter and I'm seeing people saying, oh, this is like peak Messi levels. One, I just want people to understand there's no one who's reaching that type of level anyway. Because that level was, it's for you to obtain that type of level. Yeah, it's like a freak of nature. Like I don't think I'm ever going to see something like, not now anyway. I don't think I'm going to see that. And I don't think it's even about the goals and the assists that you're even. It's just you as a player. I don't think we're ever going to see that anyway. But now people are saying, you know, in terms of like Ballon d'Or and this, and I know they asked him the question on Sky Sports about, yo, you're in like this Ballon d'Or kind of form, and you know this, that, and the other. We all know how the Ballon d'Or works, guys, bro. If you ain't winning that Champions League, don't even ask about the Ballon d'Or anyway. Like first and foremost, because you know it just won't happen. And I know that with Mo Salah, in order for him to even obtain that Ballon d'Or, this brother would have to be at the top scoring charts of everything first and foremost, or they'll find a way to just not give it to him. I can promise you now, they will find something to say, nah, but he didn't win this, or he didn't do that, or this should have happened, and you know it didn't happen. That's why he didn't get it. That's why I'm so cool on the Ballon d'Or talk and stuff like that. One, because it's only half a season, and Mo's done this before. I'm not saying he's done these numbers before, but he's been in form where you've said, yo, this brother could win the Ballon d'Or. We've seen it before. The year that we went for all 4 trophies and we ended up with 2, that was the exact same in terms of the feeling around town, in terms of his level of performance and, you know, the goals that he was getting and etc., only to stink the next half of the season. And it's happened in other seasons in terms of level of performance hasn't been good, or Liverpool, unfortunately, because we don't win the Champions League or Premier League that like ever / often, it's like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, he did okay kind of thing. So I think we just got to wait to the end of the season. Let's see what he wins. Once he gets there, I think, yeah, okay, cool. If we can win everything, then you have to give it to him just by default. But if not, I promise you guys, he just won't get it, man. But Mike, your opinion just on Mo Salah, man, on the game yesterday?
I would agree with Jerry. I think he should have had about 4 or 5 goals. That's the crazy part about it. The first chance with Areola, I think, brilliant save.
Great save.
I was asking people on Twitter. I was like, maybe that's more of a brilliant save than Mo missing the chance. Even though, I mean, you're 5 yards out, you got to pick one of the corners, and he shot it straight at Areola. The second half, what was it? First 3 minutes in the second half, 1-on-1 with goalkeeper, should slot it in. Other chance, it was a half volley. I think Jota gave it to him. Should have put it in the back of the net. So he should have had a hat trick last night. But that's the funny part. You know, he doesn't finish his chances, but he still comes away with 1 goal and 1 assist. Or was it 2 assists? Two assists, excuse me, because he gave the last goal to Jota. So, look, it wasn't his best performance, but you know what's the craziest part? I just checked, people. He's already matched his most assists in 1 season in the Premier League. He had 13 assists in the 21-22 season. He's already got 13. So he's already breaking records there. At this rate, imagine when we're going to get to the nitty-gritty and it's going to get really tough during this season. I think Salah steps up in the tough moments, except for the Champions League final, because those Champions League final performances weren't the greatest against Madrid, of course. I think he's going to step up and he might really get 30 goals and 20 assists. Now, if he gets 30 goals and 20 assists in 1 Premier League season, that is unreal. Now, he's never going to touch Messi. Messi had, 50 goals in La Liga and 21 assists or something ridiculous like that in the 11-12 season.
Yeah.
Memory serves me right? It was something ridiculous. Like, nobody will ever touch. That is the pinnacle of greatness right there. But if you want to talk about greatness in the Premier League, Salah ain't far out, guys.
Mike, what's scary, though, is this is what we're saying, is if he converts the chances that he's missing, it's on a plate for him. If he wants to touch those numbers, it's down to him. It's not like Liverpool don't create enough chances, he's maxing up. They're creating so many chances and they're falling to him so often. He could easily have 2 goals a game. And then you start to look at it like, well, could he get 45? Could he get 45 in the league? Yep. That's what's scary about it.
Agreed. And also he could have more assists if, we didn't have a donkey up front for a couple months during this season. But nonetheless, unreal what he's doing at the moment. He's really, although you could say he was carrying us for a couple of weeks, I think now with the performances of Diaz and Gakpo, the front 3, they're just clicking, guys. We're seeing now sort of emblems of Mane, Firmino, and Salah, where you saw every week those 3 perform week in and week out, and now we're seeing it again with the front 3 of Liverpool, and it's just beautiful to see.
Do you, and just before I get your take on it, Harris, do you guys think, yeah? Because I saw that you just mentioned Salah, Mane, Firmino, right? And it's funny because Salah's the only is the only denomination still here. Do you guys think? And obviously, it's still early. I know we ain't won anything with these guys, so that it will be difficult. But do you think that these guys, those three in itself, could potentially be a good three moving forward, or would you guys still be looking at, we can upgrade in a Gakpo or Diaz, for example?
Maybe we could upgrade on a Diaz, even though I think Diaz in the false nine is doing fantastic work and off the ball movement is creating a lot of havoc on the defense. Maybe we could upgrade on him, but Gakpo, I mean, people wanted him sold. People wanted Diaz sold. That's why I'm wearing the Columbia shirt. All I just heard all summer, G. We know what we heard all summer, G. Get Gordon. Get Gordon. EPL merchant. Get the British people out here. Come on, guys. Gordon is going to be the guy. He's going to save Liverpool. All right, cool. Do what you want. But if you want to get a striker, cool. I'm fine with it. If we sell the other striker that we got in the club, fine. We got to do that first. And then we can go get a striker. But yes, we could probably upgrade in the striker position. But for me, when watching Liverpool all the time I have, I would still say that Sturridge, Suarez, and Sterling were still a more formidable front three than these guys at the moment. Now, that can obviously change as the season goes on, but with the way these three are playing, we're seeing now one of the scariest Liverpool attacks in modern history.
Yeah, I think personally, I'm going to be a bit controversial. I know people are talking about Gakpo recently. I don't think Gakpo has been that great. I think he's just been so effective in terms of recently he's been getting goals. When we're watching the game, right, his effect on the game isn't that great in terms of he stays out wide, doesn't really get involved, gets the ball, wants to go and cut in. I think the reason why we're seeing them click is because we've got a player like Diaz that's playing in the middle that links up better than any of our forwards. I know Jota's a great forward and goal scorer, but if you go back to even the Tottenham game, who's making the overlapping run to get the goal? The last goal against Spurs, that was Diaz overlapping Salah, right? The fact that he's in that pocket, picking up pockets and linking up with the midfield, I think it's gelling the team a bit more together. And the fact that, people are talking about getting rid of Diaz, it's like, I was talking to G about it yesterday. I was like, when we're watching the game, he's so multifaceted in terms of, there was like a 10-minute spell where he cut in and had a shot that the keeper saved. He then went and obviously was on the right-hand side, made an overlapping run for Salah and crossed the ball passed the ball into Salah when he done that little turn or whatever and played it to Gakpo. And then he had a chance to had a header that just went over the bar. That is someone that's proven to you that, yeah, he can affect the game in this way, that way, this way. And I think you can't get rid of players like that because the players that you're going to bring in, like a Gordon, like you said, really, really good on his day, but they're very one-dimensional. You know what they're going to go and do. Someone like that, you don't know where they're going to go and do. And that's why Mane was so great, because Mane could go and win you a header, but he could also go and run in behind. He can come short and get the ball. He can also play a pass. And we need to get players like that. And I think I agree. I just think right now, in terms of wingers, even Gakpo, I'm not a huge fan of him. Like, can you really upgrade on him like that? Who are you going to get that's going to do better than him right now? There's no one really there. It's only a forward when you're thinking about it. It's only a striker where you look at it and you're like, Jota's always out injured. We can easily upgrade there. The others, pick of the bunch. You might want Kvaratskhelia. Is he better in terms of output than a Gakpo? You don't know. You don't know until we come to it. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, they've been performing really well. Question I've actually got for Mike, right? Do you think this front three, if we were to keep Salah, is one that could rival Bobby, Mane, and Salah? Let's say in 2 seasons' time.
I don't think so. Because prime Bobby, I would still take over Diaz all day, every day. Yeah, and I would take prime Mane over Gakpo any day. So I don't know. I just don't think these three can match those three, in my honest opinion. Now, Jerry, do you think this front three is better than Sterling, Suarez, and Sturridge?
As a collective, no. Because I don't think Suarez is the best player I've ever seen.
Of course.
Like for Liverpool, I think he's the best player. And then Sturridge, he was, again, I think he's someone that he's so underrated because the way we talk about Jota, if we had a fit Sturridge, it changes. A fit Sturridge is probably still here right now. That's how good I think he was. So No, I don't think so. I think Sterling's the one you could probably go and replace with one of the others. Of course, Salah, but I think Diaz or Gakpo could have played there and still been really, really effective. But Sturridge, Suarez, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But isn't it funny, guys, that, like similar to 21-22 season when Diaz came into the January transfer window, then we moved Sadio Mane to the false nine, and then all of a sudden the front three were formidable. And we're doing the same thing again. Diaz moves to the false nine, and we're cooking. As soon as we don't play with the striker, it's funny Liverpool start cooking. I don't know what it is. Because it's always been predicated that Liverpool always have a good forward, or striker, excuse me.
I think with that, I agree, by the way, like 100%. I think, I'll put that question to Jerry in a sec. I think with that, Liverpool can look good without a striker, but they need to be as good as Bobby or as good as Diaz has been recently. Liverpool, I think, look better with a striker, but the striker has to be on the level of Torres, Owen, Fowler. Like, there's no in between with any of those two. That's Liverpool's, I don't want to say problem, but you've seen it like that. That's kind of been our issue, is that when you've got like an in between, we're not like Man City where you can play James Milner up front and it's not going to make any difference to what you guys do, right? Because of the system and the way that they did play, in that kind of system. We're a team that it has to be right. Like, it has to be the right player playing in those positions in order for it to look really good. So, example, obviously, Bobby playing there under Klopp, amazing, did his thing, blah, blah, blah. Now we're seeing, Gakpo, Diaz, obviously Mane was there before. But when it comes to the striker in itself, it's like we don't have a striker of the levels that we've had before. Hence why it starts to look a little bit wishy-washy, like Nunes, even Jota is like, Jota's, but injured all the time, doesn't always look great. Like, it's too in the middle. Whereas if we had those kind of level of players that we've obviously previously had, and I'm not saying that you can always have that because you can't, but if you have that, for Liverpool, it just looks like, Jesus Christ, like, these lot they're on smoke there. Because imagine if you had a Torres today, as an example, prime Torres in this Liverpool team. Like, you're not talking about no false nine or nothing. You're just playing Torres. These men are going to have to work in and around that. And I think it would just have to work in some way, shape or form because of the type of player that he is. Even if you had Suarez, who wasn't a natural, would I say, number 9, so to speak. Again, if you had someone like that in this kind of team, someone who can put chances away consistently, Jesus Christ, Liverpool probably end up winning games like 8-0 all the time. With Salah and Suarez and both in the same team.
Even think about it. Imagine we had a Sturridge up front. Like,
Sturridge ended up like, again, and Sturridge is the one where I'm like, he's more of a natural 9 in the mold of a Torres, in the mold, just in terms of they're just number 9s. They're not really, yes, Sturridge sometimes will pull out wide here potentially to play a pass in, but I just think that was just more because Suarez was so everywhere. You just need to find a position to just be in to receive the ball. But he's so good in the box. This brother's finishing is ridiculous. So imagine if you had someone who I could trust, because Mike's just called him a donkey. Like, we don't have no one like that we really trust in the box, where you're like, brother, when this guy's in the box, it's Ruud van Nistelrooy settings. I know he's scoring. It doesn't matter where in the box he's scoring. I've seen Sturridge score dumb goals from dumb angles, like acute angles that you think, brother, how did you even score from there? Imagine if we had someone like that, in the team. But listen, man, that's neither here nor there. Just
quickly, because I think we got to give credit to Slot, because this guy can play with the striker, can play without a striker. Look what he did with Feyenoord. He said, okay, cool. Santiago Jimenez, you're not going to be playing for the first 6 months. What does he do for the second half of the season? They won the Eredivisie. Plays him as striker. And what does Santiago Jimenez do? Just be a poacher, link up play, straight down. Like, Santiago Jimenez didn't even go out wide to the left or to the right. He strictly stayed down in between the box, link up play, poacher, and got like goal. Every single game got 2 goals or a hat trick. And now he evolves. All right, cool. We got a donkey. The donkey ain't working. He ain't going up the mountain. Let's bring in Diaz into the false 9 role. It's just the coaching of Arne Slot is just so underrated. I think that's one thing. You can praise Salah, you can praise Van Dijk, you can praise the midfield. The one thing you have to praise is massively Arne Slot. For me, people are going to talk about Nuno Espirito Santo at Forest, but the coaching that Arne Slot has been doing this season, throughout every single game, you just see little tweaks there. This is fantastic.
I'll go. Harris, I'll ask you first, and I'm going to ask a question after that, just on Mike's point. Harris, man, chat to me about Salah, man. Like, who were you telling me in terms of the game, just in the game in itself? Like, how did you see it? Do you think it was
Overall,
good, bad?
I think this is a typical Salah performance, really, where he gets GA and it kind of papers over his whole performance. I've seen it
Mm,
for many seasons now, where could he get so much GA, no one's going to talk about his overall performance. They'll just say Salah got this amount of GA. He could have had a lot more yesterday, but then again, he's still going to get praise about his goals, his assists. Yeah, this is just a typical Salah performance, really, that we see week in, week out from him. If he's not getting GA, then we will see his overall performance. That's when people will say, "Oh, Salah was kind of dead today," but because he's got GA, no one's gonna really speak about it. It's the same thing that happens with what's his name, Bruno Fernandes,
mm,
where when he gets GA, people will not speak about his overall performance. There's only a few United fans that will mention, "Oh, he was dead today." Like against
mm,
City, he scored a penalty, but he was like one of the worst players on the pitch against
mm,
City. Yeah, um, but people didn't speak about his performance because he scored a penalty. It's the
mm,
exact same thing with Salah, but he plays for Liverpool, and as long as he keeps scoring, I'm not too fussed about his performance because he's winning us games.
mm.
Um, and yeah, and the other attackers, they're playing well, so I'm not going to be too critical um, on Salah's performances, really, because he's doing a job.
Chat to me. I want to get just your opinion, because I know your your feelings on him anyway. But chat to me about Gakpo, though. Chat to me about yesterday's game, but also just in a general sense, like how you kind of see it. Because obviously, Gakpo is getting the GA. This, I think he's got 10 or 11 goals. I can't really remember, but yeah, he's getting the goals, man. So how are you rating Gakpo this season so far?
Got
The
me,
gap person calm.
Harris.
Harris,
I think at the start of the season, it was Diaz starting on the left, and now Gakpo's playing on the left. And I've always said if you want to see Gakpo get a lot of GA, then you'll put him on the left because that's his signature move.
Mm,
The cut in, pop bins. He scored it many times for the Netherlands. He scored it a few times for us, and mostly like PSV. That was his trademark kind of move.
mm,
Yeah, and if you see the type of finishes that he was that he was doing at PSV, thinking, yeah, he as a player, he has that one move on lock. Obviously, in a like since he's come to the Prem, it's gonna be a much harder. Yeah, because you're coming up against better defenders, etc. Ways you can read the game better. But just as a whole, yeah, I think Gakpo's been calm. I think he's also another player on a sly whose GA has papered over his performances at times. Yeah,
interesting. Good.
I think there's some games he's played well. I think, like for example, Leicester, he kept like in the first half. I don't think he was that great, but in the second half, I think he did much better. Yeah, like he kept cutting in
Mm,
and whipping it back post. That's also another move he likes to do. He kept doing that at PSV, and he had that on lock. But like I said, when um when you come to the Prem, much different um in terms of facing other defenders, and when they read your move, it becomes much harder. Um, so yeah, I think he's one player that sometimes his performance has been poor, but he's got GA, which is why our fans will speak about it.
mm.
Um, yeah, but
No,
that's
no,
it
no.
really. I think I think Gabbo's been calm, and hopefully he can continue with this because I still have stocks in him. Um,
I know you got
so yeah,
something. I know. I fully know. That's why I wanted to know like what your opinion. But you know what, you was honest there in terms of like the GA sometimes papering over like the cracks. But listen, if you keep getting GA, it doesn't really matter. And that's why I always say about Salah, like it won't matter at the end of the day, kind of thing. Like it is just kind of one of those things.
It's the smaller details if you want to go into detail.
Yeah. It's more like if I'm doing like a proper analysis on this player and we're looking at the pros and cons, that's when I can really get into it. Before we move on to the other player I wanted to obviously speak about, Gagany has a question for you, Jerry. Suarez over Gerrard.
What does it mean by that?
I think it's when you said Suarez is the best player.
Yeah, he's the best player. When the best player, when Gerrard says that's the best player he's ever played with, there comes to a point where you just got to be like, that's the best player. I've not seen anyone do anything like that at Anfield before, ever. And then what they did in their careers as well, the types of goals, the amount of goals, their winning goals, all that type of stuff. It's just, he was unreal. That's not to say Gerrard isn't a legend or a bigger player for Liverpool, the club, but in terms of just ability, Suarez is the best Liverpool. Anyway, the best player I've seen Liverpool have, personally.
Fairs. This question for all of you guys. I'll start off with Mike, then Harrison and Jerry. And Gangly's asked, look, if we do get over the line and win this league, are FSG off the hook? He says for him, no, because we have seen this before, got to the pinnacle, but complacency obviously kicked in and eventual regression. Mike, you can take this one first, man.
Is this a trick question, bro? Of course not. They bring in a new
manager.
Hey,
I don't ask the questions, man.
They bring in a new manager and say, here's a washed up Chiesa. Even though I love Chiesa, but man, that guy cannot stay injury-free at the moment. So
sorry, just before you continue, what was the reason why he wasn't in the squad? I didn't see.
I don't know. Nothing was said.
Nothing was said. No.
Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. I thought I missed it. Okay.
I think he's healthy. There's no illness or anything like that going on here. So, okay. But yeah, no, FSG are definitely not off the hook, bro. I mean, if FSG are serious, you know what they do? January 1st, which is in a couple of days, January transfer window opens, you go sign a center back. If you're serious. If you're a serious ownership, you want to win, like FSG did to the Boston Red Sox many times. Okay, they won the 2004, 2007 World Series. They were serious about winning the title then. If FSG are serious about winning the league for Liverpool this season, you go buy a center back. It's plain and simple. We are down now to 2 center backs, guys. 2. Because Gomez is out injured now, probably 4 or 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. Konate, even though he's been brilliant this season, he's still injury prone. So you have to go sign a center back. They're definitely not off the hook. After what they did over the summer, come on, guys.
Fairs. Harris, what about you, man? How do you, I'll put that question to you.
I have mixed emotions with FSG because, you know when we was trying to get Jude Bellingham, and then we kind of pulled out the race. And I remember all of the stick that FSG was getting because of that. And then what we did is go and sign McAllister, Sobol, and who was the other one? Endo. Now I've seen him as well. There was 4 midfielders that we signed. And now I'm looking at it and I've seen a lot of fans saying, what a transfer window we had. And I was thinking, if we signed Bellingham, we wouldn't have got this, man. Like 100%. Like we would have still been stuck with certain guys in midfield. And it's funny because like how football changes and with like the signings and the small decisions that you can make, like the much smaller details. Because like I said, if Bellingham's here, I don't even think he's for this kind of style of football, dude. Like in terms of playing out from the back and being neat and tidy, I don't think he's as tidy as really any of our midfielders. I'll be real, like Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch. I don't think he's as good as them on the ball. And like what Michael said with the centre back situation, giving us Kabak, that's a sackable offence, man. Like you didn't want to go and
either.
Yeah, him as well. So So it's kind of like we need to see what goes on in January because Joey's out, and I'm like, I like Kwanzaa. I want to win the league. Yeah, I think Kwanzaa could be calm, but just to be safe, I would like another centre back. Yeah, just to be safe because if Kwanzaa gets injured, yeah, I fully expect him to start. Yeah, against
Mm,
United, for example, because I don't want to rush Ibu back. It's the
mm.
same thing I have with Jota. Yeah, if FSG are serious, yeah, you will go and get us another CB just to be safe. He doesn't even need to start. Kwanzaa can start. Yeah, just to be safe, go and get us another centre back. Because in case if he gets injured, or even worse, if Virgil gets injured, yeah, it's peak. Because I'm not trying to
Okay.
see Endo starting CB or us having to make makeshift centre backs like Gravenberch. I'm not trying to see that.
Okay. So on that, just before I get your take, Jerry, yeah. So and I'm asking you, Harris. You see, when you say yeah, go and sign a centre back, right? And you're not, you just want someone who can just in case. What does that look like to you? Because if you're gonna go and sign a centre back, for example, I don't know what centre back that you would like Liverpool to sign, like whoever that is, yeah. So let's just say, as an example, I'm not saying that you're saying this, but as an example, let's say you wanted, I don't know, Bastoni. Yeah, let's just say he's available, you can get in, blah blah blah, and you get in Bastoni. If you get in him, how does that then work? Or do you think that Liverpool would have to sign a centre back who isn't really going to be a starter, even like when everybody is fit? Or do you want someone who you think, nah, this brother can still challenge for a starting spot? Like, what type of profile of centre back are you kind of, or player are you trying to look at, like in terms of what they are? Because you can sign, as an example, right? And I don't agree with what they did. Yes, Kabak and Ben Davis. Listen, that was just shocking. But I do kind of agree with the level of player that they was trying to sign, because the reality is, at that time, you still had Matip. Obviously, these players are injured, right? But when they all come back, you still got Matip. Konate obviously was coming in. You got Virgil van Dijk. You got Joe Gomez. If you sign someone else, like someone who is gonna,
It's
come in and
verified.
wants to
Yeah, he's
play,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
like who drops out, like I don't know, how that works. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how do you see it then, like in terms of the level of player that you try and sign?
I would say along the lines of like a Scalvini, that kind of level, Antonio Silva, that kind of level, because not only you're getting one in, it slide does future proof your defense like for the future. I'm not saying that that player will come in and be there for the future, but you know that
Mm,
they're there and you've seen their qualities. Now it's down to whether they can adapt to the
mm,
Premier League standards.
yeah.
Yeah, I won't be looking at Kabak because let's be real. Who really knew Kabak before he came to Liverpool?
No, no, I didn't know who Kabak was at all.
Yeah, exactly. So at least we've seen some of these players like a Nasio, a Diamonde, Scalvini. I know he's just come out from an ACL, but he's a player that I have stocks in. Me and you,
Yeah, I
G, we
like
have
him. Yeah, I
stocks
like Scotland.
invested. Yeah. Um, Antonio Silva, even Hato from Ajax. I think he's talented. Um, he's been playing midfield recently though, but he can also play centre back and left back.
Mm,
Um, he's very similar to a Urian Timber. Um,
mm,
and even Euro, I'm looking back to the Euro situation that we had, and I think he's a very good centre back. Obviously, I'm not really going to judge him because he plays for Man United, and you know when you play for Man United, kind of like,
yeah,
do
it's
you really
difficult to
judge him?
judge. Yeah,
Because
it's difficult to judge.
yeah, yeah. So
No.
I would say along those lines of defenders.
Okay. No, no, fair. I was
So
just trying to.
G, can I ask you a question then, G? So would
Yeah,
you
of course.
not sign anybody then in the January transfer window? Considering now that we're gonna be in 4 competitions, we're looking very good. We're looking very much set to win the Premier League. We got a great chance in the Champions League if you look at the competition out there. If you want to be serious, you have to sign somebody. So who would you sign, or what position would you sign?
I think that you for Liverpool now, the only way I'd look to sign someone is if I hear that Joe Gomez is out for a considerable amount of time. If I know Joe Gomez can come back, before the January transfer window ends, I wouldn't even bother signing anyone, because the reality is, that's why I asked Harris about the type of player. Like, I don't think Liverpool can sign anybody that's going to do that much to what we're trying to do. There isn't really that much that you can realistically at this stage say, okay, for example, you want a centre back. Okay, so if I sign Hato, for example, from Ajax, okay, well, he's playing all the time at Ajax. I don't think he's going to want to sit on the bench for 80% of the time that he is here. Yes, I get the future proof, but where does that happen? Like, when does that kick in? It's not like Konate is old. Van Dijk looks like he's going to just stay there, so he doesn't even really play. Maybe you can say he maybe gets ahead of a Kwanzaa. So what's that, Carabao Cup minutes?
Robertson as well. Also,
I don't see him playing a left back though. Like, I don't think. I mean, listen, I don't know, because I don't know what Slot's going to do in terms of what type of players he wants to sign. So we have to just wait. But I don't think we're going to sign a centre back who can play fullback. I just think we're going to sign a fullback. And if you want, you're going to sign a centre. I don't think we're going to do the whole, you should be able to play 2 roles and this, that, and the third, and etc., etc. So when I'm looking at it, I just don't see who else are you going to sign. Like, everyone wants a left back to play when Robertson's still here, Tsimikas is still here, unless one of them leaves.
That won't be until the summer.
Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just not gonna. Like, summer, yes, we can have that's summer. We'll have that conversation when we get there. But for now, I'm like, bro, like, who, like, I don't even know who's out there for me to say, yeah, get this guy and get this guy. And I've never ever seen in the history of the Premier League, and I am trying to remember, I am really, really trying. I cannot remember a team signing a player, a title challenging team, and then they've gone on to win the title because of that player. Like, I've never ever seen it, because it's just unrealistic to think that a player is going to help you to win. Like, bro, that player is not going to make that much difference to what you're already doing. You're already on the trajectory that you're on. That player is not going to make that much of a difference unless you can go out and sign like Musiala or them type of guys. It's not going to happen. Remember, we're talking about signing Hato, and he's just going to be like some squad player. I can't lie. You're better off just bringing someone back from loan and just running it that way for now.
Or even that's an option. That's even an option.
Yeah, summer, of course. Then listen, when the summer comes, we'll have that conversation about certain players and retete. That's fine. But for now, what can we get Gyökeres now? Like, do you think he'll leave midway through the season for Liverpool to spend 60 whatever? I just don't see it with no one. I don't think there's no player out there that I think improves Liverpool enough in this short space of time for me to say, go out and sign this guy. That's just for now, though. So for me, I just won't sign anybody. I'll just leave the team as it is, unless you hear that Gomez is going to be out for like 3-4 months. Then it's like, okay, well, we need a centre back now. That's only because it's logical. Otherwise, I'll just leave it and say, no, just wait for him to come back, and then Konate will be back soon, and then you've got Konate, Kwanzaa, you got everyone, who's still kind of chilling there, man.
Do you trust the Kwanzaa?
Do I? Sorry, what'd you say? Sorry.
Do you trust Kwanzaa? Because considering the fixtures we got coming up soon.
Not in the long haul, but I would say I'll trust him for like a few games. But Konate's coming back though.
I think
we know Konate though. G, the guy shows up for a couple of games and then back to NHS. That's what happened.
Listen, when I was saying that, everyone was shouting at me saying, but this guy, he's here. Like,
be honest, yeah. You see with Kwanzaa, right? This is a guy that last season, remember when Konate wasn't available, the discourse was he's going to start over Konate. We thought he'd start the season, and he did start the season, right? He did start the season.
Struggled.
So, exactly, struggled in that first game. But for me, that's more of a confidence issue, because when last season, he was talking about saying condolences, right? His performances were top last season. Like him against City, outstanding against City. That was City that was challenging for the league, not this season City. So I don't look at Kwanzaa and think, oh my God, that's like such a massive problem. His confidence was shot after the back of, remember, really, really good season, invited to England, right? For the Euros, invited to England. That is on a high, comes in, does decent at pre-season, does well at pre-season, has one game against Ipswich with a new manager that doesn't know him, and he's trying to impress because he's a young player, and he gets hooked off at half-time. That's going to affect your confidence as a 21-year-old, whatever it is, right? The guy needs is confidence, and we've seen that with Van Dijk. It doesn't matter who he plays with. It doesn't matter who he plays with. You could put Endo there, and I think we still do all right. And unless we're going to go and get someone that you think is going to go and dislodge Konate at the team potentially, so someone on that level or higher, I don't see the benefit of getting some random breader in, right? Because unless you get someone on loan or get someone that's just like not really playing at the moment, but you think like, yeah, he could do a job for us right now from someone, I don't know, someone at Southampton or someone at one of those random centre backs, just to have a body in there, right? I don't see the benefit of bringing in a player that's like a mid-level player, maybe like a Joe Gomez level player. But if Konate's fit again, he's never going to see the pitch. Because that means we're going to have that fork out money to have a player that ultimately isn't going to go and play, unless you go down the route of we're buying a left-sided centre-back that is going to play left-back from now on. That can play at centre-back, and then as soon as Konate's back fit, he goes out onto the left. But then it changes kind of what Slot might be potentially wanting to do. That's my biggest worry. I think if you're going to sign anyone, for me, you sign a forward. Personally. Reason why I say that is Nunes can't be trusted. Jota can't be trusted as well. Nunes can't be trusted because of his ability. Jota can't be trusted because of injury. If he goes, then we're in a problem where you're just running Gakpo and Diaz for the long haul, but you've got no one else to come on. That's a worry for me. If you can go and sign someone that can go and get you 10 goals from January to the end of the season, you're comfortable. I just don't trust Nunes is going to get us 10 goals from now to the end of the season. And that's the worry for me.
I think he's struggling to get 5 at the moment. Yeah, 10 right now.
I think Endo's good enough, and I think Slot's good enough to find a solution without having to go and fork out money for like a second grade centre back. I think if Bastoni becomes available and you can get him in January, you get him. Like there's just not a no brainer. But I don't think we go out and get like, I don't know, like Van Hecke or something from Brighton, and you're like, yeah, all right, great, but then he doesn't play. And then you've got another situation where you're like, even look at with Chiesa right now. Who is he? You're just not even getting any minutes because we've got 4 forwards.
Who is he?
Do you think Slot is looking at the likes of Robertson and thinking, yeah,
guys,
I might need to
head off, yeah? I've got to head off, but big up to
you.
you.
Yeah, no, big man. Love.
Big up.
Love. Mike, Harris, see you later. Guys, smash the likes as well.
Do you think Slot is looking at Robertson and thinking, yeah, you are gone, like, whether that's summer or perhaps even, most likely not, but potentially January, he's thinking, yeah, you need to cut because the amount of mistakes that you're making is actually questionable. Yeah. Like, for example, yesterday, we could have been 1-0 behind.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a summer thing. I think with the left back position. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think Slot is. I mean, he's obviously probably worried about it, but he's probably thinking, okay, let's really upgrade in that position in the summer.
Yeah, I think that, and that's what I'm saying. That's why January is difficult, guys. Like we know, like think of all the deals. Forget even just teams who are challenging for the title. It's very rare that teams even find players good enough, really, like. They might help in a certain sense, maybe to push a team who's, I don't know, 12th to 9th, maybe kind of thing. But overall, I don't really see that many deals, man. I don't see that many deals and that many players who are willing, clubs are willing to let go in January, where you're like, yep, let's get him in and, all that kind of stuff. If we do go out and sign a left back who can play centre back, then great. I mean, you got players like Alphonso Davies who are also available himself, like at the end of the season. Maybe Slot's looking at that and the board are looking at that and thinking, you know what, we can just get him to be our left back, but he won't sign until the summer kind of thing. Obviously, that's when his deal is obviously going to be up. So we'll just have to run Tsimikas and Robertson for the time being. And I said this the other day, what's good and bad, but what's bad for Liverpool being top and being so good is that it's also hard to then justify trying to get someone else in, if that makes sense, to take someone's spot in the team, because with these players that you have got at this moment in time, you're doing this well. Now we know, obviously, of course, if you get better players, potentially you could do even better, but how much better can you realistically be in terms of, well, we're top of everything, we're clear by however many points, we've only lost 1 game. Do you know what I mean? Like, trying to have that conversation with the tightest owners that trying to convince these guys, by the way, guys, now I need to go out and sign this guy for 50 mil. Why? What do you mean? Why do you need 50 mil? Because obviously, if we get him in, we can do this. Well, you're doing it without 50 mil. So guess what? I'll give you 20 mil. Now it changes your whole outlook and perspective of, okay, so we can't get that player, but maybe. And that's the problem with trying to get a body in, especially in January. I'm not saying we won't, by the way. We might sign someone, but I just don't see the logistical side of trying to get someone in January unless you've got like a long-term, like a long-term injury. But listen, man, like I say, man, I'm still jumping on the Musiala train. Hopefully one day he turns up at Liverpool and you know what I mean, then that can sort out one position, in the team. But realistically, we'll wait and see. I think January is going to be, I think it's going to be quiet for Liverpool. I really do. I think it's really, really going to be quiet, and it's going to be more about trying to pattern up the contract situation of a lot of players, not just the free, by the way. You still got Konate, his deal. Luis Diaz, does he get a new deal? Do we give it because if you give Diaz a new deal, you're saying, all right, well, you're here basically. Obviously, he's 28, so he's going to be into his 30s. Do we want to keep him? Are we saying yes? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure I read it. I'll double check now.
He's 27. He's 27. He's turning 28 in January.
Oh, so, okay, so 28 next year. So this is going to be the deal that takes him into his 30s, effectively. So we're looking at him thinking, do you really want to do that? Do you not want to upgrade potentially? I don't know. I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So listen, man, we just have to wait and see on all of these players, man, and then take it from there. But I think January is going to be super duper quiet. The other player I wanted to talk about before we kind of take a look at the ratings was obviously Trent. I didn't see this. I didn't see him do all of that, but I saw it afterwards later on. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about him. We already know, people are angry, people are not angry, whatever. Scousers are, crying about it. Some people don't really care, whatever. The feelings are all over the gaff when it comes to Trent, right? Trent has told everybody that he isn't going to have his contract situation played out in public. He's literally told us this before. And it's funny because his one seems to be the one that's played out in public the most, even though he's not actually saying anything towards it. And Salah's talking, Virgil's spoken before, about this whole contract situation. When we look at Trent, and I guess I'll ask you both this. The first part, would you be upset if he left? And 2, if he were to leave, who would you be out there? Who do you think is out there? Or do you think it's like an internal, we can just put Bradley in there and no problem? Mike, I'll ask you first.
I think he's gone, to be honest.
Okay.
I think he's leaving. So if he's leaving, I think Conor Bradley is still suitable enough. Because when I look at the right back position in Europe, I'm not going to trust Frimpong, even though I think he's very good with Bayer Leverkusen. Right wing back tax. He's good in that position defensively. Have a lot of worries for him. If you want to go really obscure, I would say Joel Ordóñez from Club Brugge. If you want to play him in the right back position, that's a very good player to play in defense. But that celebration is a bit weird, though. I can't lie. Everybody's talking. He clearly he's listening to everybody. Of course, nowadays with social media, you're going to listen to people. But I'm kind of intrigued to see where Trent's mind is at right now. Is it more leaning towards, okay, I want to stay at Liverpool, create more of a dynasty with this Liverpool team under Slot? Because maybe initially last summer he was like, I got 1 year left. I'm going to Madrid in the sun. F this. I'm not dealing with the cold anymore at Liverpool. I'm going to Madrid. But maybe as the season has gone by and he's like, oh my God, we're actually playing good football. I really trust Slot. Maybe he's like, I think I actually want to stay. So I don't think it's for Trent. Am I upset if he leaves? No. You've done everything at Liverpool Football Club. You've done everything. You've given great moments. You've scored some absolute crazy goals. You've played at a top level. So I wouldn't be mad if Trent left. If he hadn't won anything, I'd be like, bro, you're leaving us in the dust. What are you going to do here? So for Trent, I think it's going to be a couple more weeks, and we're going to probably see comunicado from Real Madrid, and it says they signed Trent. I can't lie. Gee, it's looking that way. The most important for me is just sign Van Dijk. And so I think we had this discussion maybe in August or September, G, if I'm not mistaken. We both agreed that we said it looks like Salah and VVD are going to stay, and we think Trent is going to leave. And it's playing out that way exactly how I saw it, because Trent is maybe he's just a Real Madrid player. Maybe he just looks at Bellingham. Maybe he's getting lauded by Bellingham. He's like, bro, just come here. The weather is good. The food is good. La Liga, you're playing against low block after low block. You're going to play terrorist football against Getafe, but you're still going to get the goals. You still got Mbappe. You still got Vinny. You're going to get your assist and goals. It's just a matter of if Liverpool keep on winning, will his head then change and be like, okay, I will stay. But with that celebration, it's adds more fuel to the fire. Don't we love it, G? This gives everybody something to talk about. Twitter has something to talk about. All these YouTube channels have something to talk about. But at the end of the day, him and the club, they're going to discuss about this.
No. I hear it, man. I hear it. I agree, man. I agree. Harris, before I give you guys my opinion on that. Harris, what do you think, man? Like
My
in terms of the
opinion.
two players.
My opinion on Trent's situation and his celebration is that, I mean, that could be anything. Yeah, that could be anything, that celebration. I know he is probably talking about all of the talk, but nothing is set in stone because, um, footballers are weird, man. Like we've seen guys. I saw Declan Rice like 2 summers ago or something when he joined Arsenal, saying to our fan that he's gonna stay, and I see him in the Arsenal shirt like a couple weeks later. Yeah, like if Trent wants to go, then he wants to go. We just gotta move on because Trent's not Liverpool. Yes, he came through the academy, yeah, but then again, we've got other important players that I think will be fine with if he was to leave. We've got Virgil, we've got Salah, we've got Graven Birch, who everyone seems to love now. We've got McAllister, we've got Jones, we've got all of these players. We've got Ibu, we've got Allison. Trent leaving doesn't make us shit all of a sudden. If Virgil left, then okay, yeah, I'm panicking because, like I said many times, I don't know many centre backs that will come into a team and make an impact as much as Virgil has done for the past few seasons. Yeah, I just haven't seen it, and I don't know any other centre backs that can. Yeah, but with Trent's situation, yeah, like if he wants to leave and go and win more in his career, because he could finish the season and say, yeah, I've done my part at Liverpool. Man's just won of a Prem, and let's say we win the Champions League as well. He's probably saying, yeah, cool. This is a perfect send-off. Thank you for everything. I've won 2 Premier Leagues. I've won 2 Champions Leagues. I've won 2 Carabao Cups. I've won an FA Cup, Super Cup, you name it. Community Shield, as Arteta likes to count that as a trophy. Yeah. Yeah, he could look at that and say, yeah, cool, perfect send-off. Let me cut to Madrid. It's none of our business, no Liverpool fans' business to say, he has to stay because he wants to be captain. Remember, captain's just the title. Remember, everyone else on the pitch is as a captain as Virgil because they all speak on the pitch. They all direct each other. Yeah, and playing football, yeah, at times I can be captain sometimes. Yeah, and I'm hearing everyone else speak on the pitch. I'm hearing other people try and tell me, "Oh, Harris, the man on your shoulder, etc." Yeah. Pause, by the way. Yeah. Um, yeah. So you see, with Trent, if he wants to leave, let him leave. Let him do what he wants in his career because it's going to benefit him the most. It's got nothing to do with us. Yeah, because we are not Trent. If Trent wants to go and win more Champions Leagues, if he wants to go and win a La Liga, which will probably be more easy than staying in the Premier League, yeah, let him decorate his career. Yeah, if he wants to win a Ballon d'Or, let's be real, he's not winning the Ballon d'Or here in the Premier League. Nah, he's not. If he wants to go to Real Madrid or even a Barcelona, which I would prefer, yeah, it's up to him to go down that route. It's got nothing to do with us saying, if he was to leave, I hope we play him again against Madrid so we can boo him. Boo him for what? For trying to improve his career and win more trophies. If not, that's a positive thing. Yeah, it's not a negative thing. Trent doesn't owe us anything. And also with the contract
Don't say
situation,
that too loud.
with the contract situation, you got to blame it on the club because I don't know what top 6 club lets their 3 best players run down their contract. Yeah, towards the end, and of course the likes of Madrid will sniff around. I guarantee you, if Trent was on a 5-year deal as we speak right now, Madrid they're not entertaining nothing because they'll just go and get another right back. Yeah, they've got I think they've got Frimpong on their list, they've got Dalot on their list. They'd rather go for that rather than Trent on a free. I mean, not Trent on a free, Trent on a 5-year contract. It's just Madrid because they're looking at Davies, yeah, now, and they're trying to make their super squad. And Trent might, like Trent says, oh, like one of the players that I wanted to play with was Henri. Trent might be looking at Mbappe and thinking, yeah, runs in behind, clinical. I mean, he hasn't been clinical this season, let's say. Yeah, too many offsides. Yeah, he might be looking at Vinicius, he might be looking at Rodrigo. And also his boy Bellingham is definitely telling him about Madrid and what it's like. Yeah, telling him to come. You see when they go to England camps and when they link up, Madrid's definitely been mentioned. Yeah, so Trent looking at Carvalho's ACL, Vasquez stinking it up at times. Yeah, cool. That spot's mine. Yeah. So it's really up to Trent if he wants to go. It's got nothing to do with us. If he wants to leave, we just gotta hold it. Yeah. And it's not like it's the end of the world, like I said. We've got Bradley, we've got other options out there. Sign as a right back. It's not the end, it's really not the end of the world. We just gotta give him a good send off and that's it.
Yeah, Liverpool fans giving Trent a good send off is just not happening, bro. I can see that from a mile off. But I agree with you though.
But
I
they're
think we
bipolar
should.
though. We're very bipolar as a fan base, man. Like if he if he stays, some of the stuff I'm gonna hear from the guys that were saying, "Oh, if he leaves, this will happen." I was thinking, but you're just slating my man before.
This is why, like I say, man, it's just very hypocritical. But listen, football fans, they'll tell you, oh, but when you're a fan, you can be this. Now, how about when you're a fan, just don't be an idiot? How about just keeping your mouth closed and not speaking on things that you don't understand? That would actually be even better for football fans instead of speaking from a place of all-knowing and, all of that kind of stuff. But listen, man, that's neither here nor there. Let's quickly do the ratings. I want to whiz through this and then we can head out, man. Head out with the last match reaction in 2024. Ali, any one of you can shout out whatever numbers you think you can get. I don't think he didn't do
7.
anything.
He didn't do anything. He didn't make a save.
yeah. I mean, I'm like, it's so mad. I was gonna give him like a 5, not because he was poor, but he didn't do anything. Like he had nothing to do. So I was like, I can't even rate you highly, but because of that, you get what I'm saying? But what do you think, Harris? Obviously, Mike saying 7.
7 for Alisson.
Yeah, that's Alisson.
I don't even remember him. I just remember him collecting the ball at times when someone cut in and crossed. I'll give him a 6.
6.
Standard.
I said 5. We'll just leave that 6. We'll go right. Smack a bang in the middle. Trent. What are you guys thinking for Trent?
7.9. I'll give him an 8 because he did create a chance for Salah where he blazed over the top. I think it was calm here. I think Trent was calm. A bit overhit passes times, but he could have played someone through. I think he was calm. I'll give him an 8.
Is Mike saying 9? I'll go 8.5 then. Excuse me. Go right in the middle. Obviously Gomez was injured. Who came on for him again? Kwanzaa, innit?
Kwanzaa.
Let me just change. What would you give Kwanzaa? I'll change that now.
7.
I thought Kwanzaa was actually pretty good when he came on. So I would give 7.5.
There was a time where he was 1-on-1 with Somerville, and I think he slightly got lucky with that opportunity.
Yeah, slightly. I think it was pretty. Yeah. I think Somerville went down quite easily, in my opinion.
He, it's mad, yeah. I think Somerville did go down kind of easy, but at the same time, it was like sometimes I'm like, be careful with them kind of challenges because, for example, obviously I know this is the Premier League, but you see in Europe, yeah, that's a penalty all day, every day. Like that's a foul, all day, every day, regardless. We know what it's like. You know what I mean? Because it's just one of them kind of things. And I was just like, you didn't need to do all of that, but listen, it is.
Do you think it was good defending?
from what in that moment or in general?
Yeah, like when it was 1-on-1 with Somerville, and he's
the thing
gone
is, I thought
down,
it was
gave you
good
nothing.
defending. I thought it was actually good defending. I just thought that you didn't need to go in with such level of force. Like it didn't really require that. That was I like the defender. I didn't think.
Yeah,
I
he
actually
forced him out
thought that
wide.
Somerville.
That's one.
Sorry?
That's one where you put your body in front.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Yeah, one of them
I
ones.
get
Yeah.
it, and that's why I am agreeing with Somerville. You did kind of go down because obviously as soon as you feel contact, you're gonna go down anyway. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So. Yeah, listen, man. I wouldn't have given a foul for that, but I can totally understand if they did. Then I'd be like, yeah, you didn't need to do all of that, man. Verge, his brother didn't do
9.
anything. Man.
9.
Almost
Swept
scored a
up.
ridiculous goal too.
Yeah, for real. The man of the hour, Robbo. This brother,
Thanks.
he's hilarious. You know, he's actually hilarious.
6.5.
I'll give him a 6, man. He was, you could tell that even with Kwanzaa coming on and Kwanzaa being the youngest out of everybody, he didn't look like the youngest. Like Robert looked like he was the inexperienced player in that game, which is hilarious. Mac 10.
9. Impeccable.
9.
Great performance. I think that getting suspended for a couple of games actually did him well. Get re-energized and looks fresh, man. Mac 10, probably my favorite player.
You saying back in the hyperbolic time chamber, and you know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
He's
Went in the cold pool, did the sauna. He did that little intervention between the two, and he's all good, man. He's flawless.
He is, he's definitely. You can see, he's got way more, like a lot more energy, in his game. Who's that? Gravers.
7
8.
on standard.
Yeah, 7, 8.
Give him a 7. Yeah, I thought he was literally just. He was
Super calm.
Yeah. Literally, he was actually just super calm.
Yep.
You know what's mad? Yeah, obviously Jones now. Yeah, I actually thought Jones is better. I liked Jones's performance than McAllister's. I felt like, obviously, you guys went with 9, so I just went with that anyway. That's fine. But I felt like Jones really put in a very good performance in terms of when he was getting the ball. You know, had his head up most of the time, making sure he's making the right passes, you know, little touches of the ball, making sure he's getting himself out of certain situations under pressure and stuff like that, running beyond the forward line, whether it be Diaz or Gakpo, whoever's up front. Like, I felt like Jones was good, man. Like I liked his performance yesterday. I would have given him an 8, kind of, but to be fair, I would have given McAllister like 7.5, 8 anyway. So whatever you guys think.
I would give Jones an 8. I thought he was really good. Off the ball movement really well. Couple of good runs in behind. I think Jones was 8.
Yeah, same.
Salah.
8. Should have been a 10, but 8.
Yeah, 8.
It's funny, man. Real talk. It should have been like a 10. He should be walking away like, and he's got like the most goals ever scored in the first half or some shit. But it is what it is. Lucho.
8.5.
Yeah.
8.5. And last but not least, Gakpinho.
That's a nice one. 7.5.
You know what? Yeah, you see that one move. Like you can tell he's Dutch because he's clearly been watching Iron Robin. The problem with Iron Robin is that move was so elite that you could never ever stop it. And he was so good at dribbling. He was so good at taking on players and stuff like that. Obviously, he was mad quick, you know, and all of that. So when he used to do that move, I used to always think, yeah, you're not gonna stop it anyway, just because of the way that it kind of materializes on the pitch. I feel like Gakpo is always doing that same thing. Maybe obviously Gakpo's young in it, so maybe like in a few years he perfects it to the point where it's like, yo, this is a proper, bad boy move. But I just think that sometimes I'm like, I think you do something else, man. Do something else, because sometimes it can become a little bit too predictable. And if he doesn't have runners, it starts to become a little bit like, no, he can only come inside, and when he comes inside, it's just now slowed down, and he isn't going to be able to do anything, and etc. etc. But yeah, 7. What did you say? 7.5 or 7?
The 7.5. And to be honest, G, he can keep doing that same move because it's effective. At least, sometimes it doesn't always equate to a goal, but at least he gets a shot off. Now, of course, his shooting could be improving more and more, but you weren't going to criticize G. Robin back in the day for doing the same move. You know why? Because it led to a goal. It led to a goal almost every single time. Now, Gakpo, he just needs to get more efficient, but I think he's really improving this season a lot. I think the coaching and giving that confidence to him, and just he didn't have a lot of starts at the beginning of the season. Now that he has more starts, you see the rhythm now. Rhythm more and more going on in this match, and I'm liking the way Gakpo's playing.
I think if he could take his man down the line a bit more, I think that would be better. And I think our fans will be a bit more cool with that. But because he keeps doing that, I think our fans have a slight issue with it because it, like G said, it becomes predictable. But I don't have an issue with it because I've always seen this from Gakpo, even when he was at PSV. If you look at his comps, yeah, and I know comps are not the best example, but if you look at his comps just in general at PSV, it was mainly cutting inside and whipping it or crossing it, yeah. And like with him, I think it was calm then at PSV because it was a smaller league, but I think in the Premier League, Sly got to mix it up a bit. Times just to be a bit more unpredictable. Now, if he could take his man down the line, yeah, which I have seen him do that a couple times, but not as much as they cut in, I think that would be super calm. Yeah, because it's another dimension to your game.
Yeah, it's just another string to your bow. Like, you know what I mean? It's just something else. Oh, listen, look, if it's working out, it's working out. Like I can't, I'm not going to complain at it working. I guess that's just more about if I was just analyzing him in general in terms of his level of like performance and pros and cons. Literally, like if I'm doing a pros and cons, I'm like, yeah, he does this well, but I wish he could do X, Y, and Z. But listen, if it's working, you're getting goals. He seems to be in the right place at the right time quite a lot recently, especially with like him and Salah. Salah will find him at the back post. He finds Salah at the back post. Like it just seems like it works, at this current moment in time. So yeah, not too much to complain in regards to that. But guys, we will draw a close. Big up everyone, man. Love to everybody who's obviously been in here this morning. I know it's early in that, but listen, this is the last match reaction of 2024. So crazy because it's only in the next like 2 days we've got, or a few days, should I say, sorry, we've got Manchester United in the year 2025. So of course I'll see you guys in the future. You know what I mean? I hope you guys obviously have a good New Year's. I will be dropping I need to do the monthly review. So obviously we'll take a look at the monthly. I'll probably try and do that tomorrow. If I can, I'll try and do that tomorrow in the morning. And then we can obviously just take a look back at the half the season that Liverpool obviously have had, sorry. So we can chop that up. Then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll try and see if I can get it done. I should have I did like the top 4 title chances. I said I would come back at halfway point in the season and take a look at it. Obviously, I didn't expect Nottingham Forest to be in here now, so they're a new team. I'm gonna have to obviously add and take Manchester City out of that. So yeah, we'll take a look at that and we'll kind of wrap about that as well. What else we got? And obviously match preview for the Manchester United game. I'll try and get that done, at some point in time. Make sure you stay locked in. I think ENDZ, I don't know if he's going to do it, but he said he's got a stream 10 p.m. this evening. So obviously we'll be chopping it up a bit more about Liverpool and etc. Love to Jerry, love to Harris, love to Mike for joining me. Much appreciated. Mike, before we leave, have you got anything else in the pipeline for today, tomorrow, day after that?
Yeah, man. Today is the yearly review of football. It's been a mad year, by the way. AFCON, Asian Cup, Euros, Copa America. Bayer Leverkusen went invincible. Atalanta won a European trophy for the first time ever. It's been a mad year, so kind of review of that. And then tomorrow, AC Milan. Oh, boy. Oh, what a disaster they've been. So I'll be dropping a video about that and the disaster. And then later this week, What did I was editing some video. What was the video? Oh man, I got too many videos coming out soon because last week, obviously holidays, had to take a little bit of a break, but now we're back into the groove. Oh yeah, AFCON video. Yes, AFCON video coming up soon, and there's no Ghana involved.
Feel like that was very, very much not needed. Yep. So ENDZ there, 10 p.m. He will obviously be live. So yeah, guys, man, just make sure you're locked in. Keep your notification bells on, and I will catch you guys potentially tomorrow. But if not, I might see you guys this evening over there on ENDZ's channel. So much love, appreciation, guys. Love for joining in. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.